Hey girlfriends, I got a question from a woman the other day that I have to admit is one of my absolute least favorite situations. So story time, let me tell you what's going on. So this is an almost 30-year marriage, and now husband is retired from the military. He is working as a civilian contractor, actually stationed in another country currently, and she has stayed behind in the United States with their teenage child. Um, she doesn't have access to very much money. She's been a stay-at-home mom for almost the entirety of their marriage. And she reached out to me. She had hired an attorney and basically paid the attorney everything she had. Her husband gave her, I think it was about $3,500 that they got in their federal tax refund. She used it to retain the attorney. And the attorney drafted an agreement, sent it off to her to share with husband, and then crickets. Several weeks went by and he proposed a round of revisions. The revisions were communicated to her attorney through the woman, the wife, and the husband didn't retain an attorney and didn't reach out, didn't send a letter, didn't call, didn't, meaningfully participate in any way. And she asks for a series of revisions. But meanwhile, she is very, very concerned about her trust account balance, which at this point, she spent about $2,000 drafting the agreement, sending letters and providing the agreement to him, and then in the revisions that were recently completed. So she reached out to me to ask me what she should do. She's worried that the attorney is eating up the retainer fee and that nothing's getting done. So, I have to tell you, this is my nightmare situation. This is the kind of thing that keeps me awake at night worrying about women, because the problem is that, this woman says she has no access to money. This is all the money that she has, and she gave all of that money to an attorney to draft an agreement for her. The attorney has done that. The attorney drafted, I looked at it briefly. It looks like a solid agreement. It's actually fairly strongly in wife's favor. It's beyond what she would get if she were to go to court, which it looks like she was advised, but she wanted to move forward anyway because that's what her husband has promised her. I was always worried when I started reading into this that he would consult an attorney who would say, absolutely not, don't pay her those things, don't give her that amount. But it doesn't even look like he's done that. He is just sending back revision after revision after revision. And of course, those revisions cost money, not to him, right? Because he doesn't have an attorney, but only to her. And now she's frustrated with her attorney because of the cost of the revisions that her husband has continually insisted on. Now, this is just a red flag scenario in so many different ways. Number one, it's absolutely not the attorney's fault that she was retained to draft an agreement, that she drafted the agreement, and that she has made the requested revisions. But this woman is also in a really terrible position. And so what I told her, and what I would tell you if you're in this situation, is that I am deeply concerned for her. At this point, while she still has a little bit of money left in trust, I would consider taking a more aggressive stance. And I know that is scary in a situation where you already don't have a lot of money. But my concern is once the trust account balance is gone, once her account balance reaches zero, there's no more money and no other way to move this case forward without filing for divorce with the court, then she won't have the money to do that, and she's completely stuck. And there's no way to end a marriage without either an agreement dividing all of the assets, liabilities, and responsibilities from the marriage between the parties, or going to court and having the judge decide. And the big problem with going to court is that it's time consuming and it's expensive. If you can't afford to retain an attorney to represent you, it is very difficult to navigate on your own. And so I told her, really consider hiring someone now, trying to use what you have left in trust to move things forward a little more aggressively now. Show him that he's serious, make him hire an attorney, force him to respond. Generally speaking, these things settle out of court, but of course it is a risk that you take that it won't, especially in this case since the agreement was drafted fairly favorably towards her. But the alternative is so scary to me that she would then run out of all of her money and have no other means of moving this case forward. So I just wanted to point out that this is a red flag situation. It's something that I see all the time, where the woman is the party who has access to the least amount of money, but she has taken on the burden of moving the divorce forward, and he's not really participating. And the actions that he does take are effectively reducing the amount of money that she has in her trustee account, the amount of ability that she has, financial ability that she has to withstand everything that's required to get a divorce in her state, which, I mean, it happens to be Virginia, where I practice, so I have a deeper knowledge of it. But it's a big red flag situation. So if you're in this situation, if you've taken responsibility and your husband is not meaningfully participating, I would talk to your attorney about options and even consider taking a more aggressive stance while you still have access to money, because once the money is gone, the legal options will be significantly less. So make good choices, talk to your attorney, and just plan the best you can for whatever might come up.